Miserable day. Fog set in, mist and rain. Headed across the dam right now. This dam was built in 1942 during World War II to help the war effort as power generator for the Alco power plant. Dam's 480 foot tall. Today we're going to campsite 113, Birch Spring Gap. It's about a 1,900 foot climb. Beautiful day for it. This right here is Fontana Lake. Boy, it's gonna be a rough day. All right, we'll see you after a while, guys. Hey, April 23rd, day one. It's been pouring down rain all day. I finally got here to Birch Spring Gap, campsite 113. You kind of notice I'm here by myself. Yeah, Mr. Chipman and CW lasted all of 2.1 miles of day one on this journey. These just didn't have the lungs or the legs for it. So they backed out, turned around, headed back to the house. I have my truck parked at Newfound Gap, so I do have transportation when I get there. I'm 4 days out. Like I said, it's pouring down rain. I haven't got any video today. It's just miserable. Got my tent set up. It's 3:57 in the afternoon. Our time, not Eastern time. It's wet, folks. There's my kitchen. Got my water. My camp stove. Got my drawers dry out. Yes, sir. I'm in my sleeping bag. I'm in clean clothes. Oh, slopping wet. Don't know how it's going to turn out, but I'm having a ball. So I'm going to get off here and get me some dinner. I'll holler at you later. See you guys. Day two. Monday, the 22nd of April. Yesterday it was pouring down rain all day. Jeff and CW made it 2.1 miles, and their legs and lungs just couldn't handle it, and they hung their hiking shoes up and headed back north. After they left, it would come a torrential downpour, rained on me all day. Set up the tent in the rain. Miserable evening. Tent is waterproof. Great tent. Got up this morning, sun shining, thunderstorms later on this afternoon. I'm just now headed out. I spent the night at Birch Spring Gap. I believe that's campsite 113. But I just come up off of Birch Spring Gap. I've just now got on the trail, and I'm gonna walk a while. Hey, headed uphill. I'm at 4,100 foot altitude right now. I was walking up through here and I started noticing all this bear corn. Check this out. This stuff right here is called bear corn. Comes up and grows. It's a fungus that grows off the roots of beech trees. And years when there's no mass crop, that's one of the staples of what the bears eat around here. They go nuts over this bear corn. As you can see, it's all over this hillside. And by the way, this hillside's straight up. I'll tell you what, I miss my two buddies, but man, I know how it is. You know, if you don't think you can do something, you don't want to put yourself in any danger. So I'll be doing this alone. I'm going to enjoy it. It's a pretty morning so far, but they are expecting thunder showers later on today. This is ridge walking at its finest right here now. Got on top of this knob and we're making time now. Been walking all morning. Just got here to the junction. I'm on the Appalachian Trail. I'm headed to Russell Field Shelter today, which is 6.4 miles that way. If you can see that fellow way up there, he's a through hiker. Trail name is Bounce. Very nice gentleman. I wish I'd have had a word with him with a camera. And then here's Gregory Bald Trail. Miss Deb and I, we were on the Gregory Bald Trail last summer. And then you can see Parsons Branch Road, 7.3 miles, and then the Gregory Ridge Trail is 2 miles. I just came from there, and I'm headed up that hill following Bounce. Everyone that I made camp with last night's already passed me. I must be the slowest one on the trail. But God, this is hard. Hard work, hard damn work. Look, I'm above the falls. I don't know if you can see it. It's beautiful country. All right, we'll get out here. This is pretty cool. Man, you see all kind of trees on the Appalachian Trail. I'm coming down a ridge. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm still above the fog. Check this tree out. I got a grouse drumming over on the other hillside. You hear that? Isn't this cool? Totally awesome. If only that tree could speak. That tree's seen a whole lot in this day. All right. Trucking right along. We're coming down to, I think, Lefty Gap. I think's what it's called. We're right here on Doe Knob right now. Moving slowly but steadily. Walking along a trail. Guess what? Yep, you guessed it. That's about as fresh a bear poop as I ever laid eyes on. Pretty butterfly. Huh. Wonder where he's at. Don't see him. I'm not scared, not a bit. Sitting here taking a break. It's 11:56, day 2. As you can see, the sun's gone. Fog set in. You can barely see, I don't know, 200 feet maybe. Hang on a second here. I'm at 4,140 feet of altitude. So we're moving right along, headed up the mountain. Shoulders a little stiff, legs are doing good. Dear, I did take my medicine this morning, so it's cool. All right, I'm gonna get off my ass here and continue on. All right, let's come to our first shelter. I'm not gonna stay here. I just had lunch. I'm headed to Russell Field. It's 3.3 more miles. This is the shelter. Holds 18. Eating areas. Communal fire pit. Water source. Toilet area. This is living, isn't it? We're gonna head on down the trail. Got our bear cables here. I don't know if you can see them. These are at all the shelters. Excuse me. Fellow hiker passing me in a fast lane. hitching posts for the horses. Alright. That's what it's all about. You guys be safe. Russell Field Shelter. Full house last night. Not too bad. Morning. How cool is this? I'm in a jungle. Rhododendrons are thick. This is really neat. I'm telling you, jungle if you ever seen it. Just got on the trail a few minutes ago, spent the night at Russell Field Shelter. Man, I never seen so many people in my entire life from all walks of life. Everybody headed north on the Appalachian Trail. I just happened to catch the bubble of everybody heading north, so the trail's plenty full. But I'm still kicking. I'm sore and dog shit this morning. This is day 3. Having a ball. Catch up with you later. Just topped the hill. Can't see 40 feet in front of you. 40-mile-an-hour wind gust. Man, this sure beats watching TV. Just took my rain jacket off not 20 minutes ago. Be putting my winter coat on here in a minute. Look how muddy the trail is. Keep on keeping on, baby. Girl, I wish you was here. I know you'd warm me up a little bit. Hey, we'll do it again. All right. Oh, by the way, there's a whole lot of this going on too. 4,800 foot in altitude right now. 7:30 in the morning. Jimmy's done well. Back at it. Uphill. Trucking. There's a white blaze. What do you know? I'm on the right road. Still foggy as all get out. Can you see the blaze there? Oh. About 8 o'clock in the morning. Steady uphill. This is pretty neat. Kind of like an archway in the middle of nowhere. We're coming up on a little bald. Beautiful. As you can see, it's fog everywhere. Check this out. This is pretty neat. Tunnel of love, baby. Tunnel of love. Muddier than all get out. Bust my ass getting through here. There we go. Anyway. thought that was pretty cool. Let's take a look at it from the hind side. Alright, headed downhill. Well, my trip's over. It's 29th of April, Saturday morning. I'm here at the Hilton in downtown Gatlinburg. Got in last night. Give you a little recap of my trip. I've planned this section hike through the Smokies for probably a year now. Had a couple of buddies of mine from Indiana was gonna come down and do the hike with me, Jeff and CW. They came down. We got a room the first night. Started out early the next morning. It was pouring down rain. Started on the 23rd of April. We started at the Fontana Dam. Give you a little history on the dam real quick. The dam, it's the tallest dam in the eastern United States. It was built back in World War II. They had shifts going round the clock. It was one of the quickest dams ever built. The dam was built for the war effort, for the Alcoa aluminum plant to help in our war effort. The dam's 480 foot tall. Of course, it dams up the Little Tennessee River, which makes Fontana Dam. That's the start of the AT on the south end of the Smoky Mountains. We started, it was pouring down rain. I mean, literally just torrential downpours. We made it about 2.5 miles. Jeff and CW struggled terribly. They weren't in shape. They had no clue what they were getting into. I had no clue what I was getting into. But I'd been training for this, you know. I had my pack on every other morning. I'd walk 4 miles on the farm. Was halfway in shape anyway. Well, the first night I made it up to, after, by the way, 2.5 miles, they turned around and left. I continued on the first day. It was pouring down rain. I ended up getting to Birch Spring Gap about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Like I said, still pouring down rain, thunder, lightning. Had to set my tent up in the rain. 90% of everything I had was wet, other than my sleeping bag. Well, the first night, of course, what's dumbass do? He rolls over and smashes his glasses. Yeah. So I had to go the whole trip. Thank God I have my sunglasses. But I had to go the rest of the trip without my regular glasses. Day 2, it was rain, fog, and I'm walking up the altitude. Day 2 was a rough day. Went all the way up from Birch Spring Gap, like 2,000 feet. I went to about 4,500 feet second day. Stayed at Russell Field Shelter second night. Boy, was that an adventure. It's about 23 hikers going all the way to Maine, setting up tents all around the shelter. And of course, I stayed in the shelter. It was a full house. Lots of mice, yes. Lots of snoring people, yes. Lots of stinking people, yes. Did not like the shelter. Woke up the third morning, sunshine, beautiful day. You couldn't ask for a prettier day. All right, day 3. I'm up the altitude. I'm ridge running all day long. Never in my life seen so many views that I saw that third day. You look to your right, you're looking off down into the Blue Ridge Mountain, the eastern. You look to your left, you're looking at the heart of the Smoky Mountain. Something to see. I love ridge running, especially the gaps. You get in between 2 ridges and you're running across a gap. Both sides of the trail is green with grass, and then there's wildflowers growing everywhere. It's a beautiful thing. All right, day 3, I stayed at I stayed at Derrick's Knob the third night. Now the shelter wasn't near as full the third night, but there were more tents out front. A lot of through hikers. Met some really nice people. Met this great big old boy from Oregon. His nickname was Bounce. Said he'd started a month and a half ago and was headed all the way to Maine. I asked him, I said, Bounce, how long did it take you to get your
trail legs, and he kind of laughed and said he still hadn't got them. So met another dude on the trail, man. He looked just like Jesus Christ. Had a big old walking staff. Wore sandals that were homemade. He made them himself. He walked the whole thing in his sandals. Pretty trippy dude. All right, day 4. Let's see how we got day 4. Stayed at Double Springs Gap. That would have been night before last. Stayed at Double Springs Gap. It was a beautiful evening, sunrise, just off of Clingman's Dome. About one of the highest places in the park. But where the shelter was located, it was on a little knob before you get up to Clingman's Dome. And on the right hand, to the eastern side, it was like a 40-mile-an-hour wind gust coming up that mountain. And then when it got to the top, and on the other side, it was just as calm as can be. And that shelter sit right there in that calm spot. So I told myself, you know, my last night I'm going to set my tent up. I'm not staying in another shelter, which I did. I set my tent up. Yesterday morning I got up. It was right at daylight. Of course, I was hearing thunder. Boom, 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 boom. I'm so sick of hearing that noise. But anyway, I got up. It started raining before I even got my tent put up. I got all my shit, got it in my sack. I'm sopping wet. Day 4, rains all day, torrential downpour. Thank God I'm headed off the mountain. I walked about 12 miles yesterday, believe it or not. 80% of it was downhill, torrential downpour. The trail was 2 inches of water, 5 inches of water, just a solid stream through the whole trail. It sucked. I finally got in yesterday at Newfound Gap about 2:30 in the afternoon. Tired, wet. I don't want to admit this, but I believe I had a tear in my eye when I popped up to the road and saw my truck sitting over there. But anyway, I got my truck, came back down here to Gatlinburg, stayed in the fabulous Hilton last night. As you can see, man, beautiful view, nice place, man. First rate, first rate. Some of the things that I saw on the trail, let's just start with this. I had 2 mishaps. The second day on the trail, I just wasn't paying attention. I was looking at a tree or some shit and strayed off the trail and fell about 10 feet downhill. And then yesterday, while I was hiking, my pack's like 40 pounds. And if you have no clue what it's like for a 200-pound man trying to get a pack on and off, it weighs 40 pounds. So I figured out if I'd walk along and I see a tree that's like 4 foot off the ground alongside the trail, I could back my fat ass up against that and set my backpack down on it and rest and loosen my straps and take a break. Well, I'm tooling along, man, and I see this old snag sticking up. I thought, man, that's just the right height for me. I got to take a break. I turn around, plop my pack on that snag, and wouldn't you know, snap, snag breaks. I fall straight backwards, roll backwards twice. End up about 20 foot down the hillside. Scratch my arm up a little bit, not too bad. Some of the things I saw on the trail, the wildflowers. There's so many flowers here in the Smokies, it's incomprehensible. You see flowers here that this is the only place in the world there are. But I really enjoyed that. The night that I stayed at Double Springs Gap, I had deer coming up within 10 foot of my tent. That was pretty cool. Above 5,500 feet was the most remarkable thing I believe I saw. When you get up to 5,500 feet, the terrain turns into a northern coniferous forest. You know, you have your hemlocks, your Fraser firs, your trees, your evergreen trees you see up in Canada. Well, anyway, above 5,500 feet, everything is covered in green moss. And I mean to tell you, this is the prettiest green moss you ever laid eyes on. And you have blowdowns, trees this big around, just, you know, from the wind, nature, you know, from tornadoes, I'm sure, and old fires. It's just, the country's beautiful all around. But anyway, my trip's over. I didn't take any, I lost my GoPro the second day. The SD card had an error in it, so I have very little video. I took some pictures, but it was raining so hard, you couldn't use any of your camera equipment for fear of losing it. But anyway, I didn't get any footage yesterday, and I apologize for that, but I figured I'd finish this up. Due to logistics reasons, I can't continue on and finish my hike like I wanted to. My original plans was to spend 2 days here and relax, and then start up Sunday and finish the second half. I'm going to start out Sunday at Newfound Gap and hike to Ice Water Spring and Peck's Corner, Tri-Corner Knob, Cosby Knob, and then into the park. Well, that's not happening now. I'm going home for now. I'm sore. My shoulders are sore. My feet are sore. Everything on me is sore. I will do the second part of the trip. I figured it up. I did 41 miles in 4 days. I'm very proud of myself. The last thing I have to say is, dear, man, you're all right, and you know, don't tell nobody, but I sure did miss your sorry ass. Just kidding. I wish you were on this trip with me, hon. It'd have been rough, but I do believe you could have done it. Well, I guess that's it, and we'll see you on the trails next time. Thank you.